Alicia Baumgardner said, "You ready? 1, 2, 3, go." She introduced herself by saying, "Hey y'all, it's Alicia Baumgardner, the Unified World Champion. I'm with DDG today y'all. We're in the gym, calling it her favorite place to be." She explained that they would be doing some one-on-one boxing, maybe some sparring and workouts, adding that he was with the champ, the one and only. They then talked about the lighting setup, with someone asking if they wanted more light. Alicia Baumgardner joked around about it and mentioned that class would start at 5 o'clock. Someone asked if he was going to spar her, but she clarified that the sparring would be for him instead. When they started talking about boxing, Alicia Baumgardner asked how he was feeling and whether they should spar. She mentioned that she had her nails done and had been on a world tour, then asked what he wanted to do and how he wanted to approach the workout. They decided to warm up first and have some conversation. Alicia Baumgardner asked if he had brought his own gloves, but he admitted he did not bring anything. She then asked if he had boxed before, and he explained that he used to box in Detroit. He said he was from Pontiac, near Detroit, and mentioned that he had competed before as a Silver Gloves champion and in the Junior Olympics. The conversation ended with Alicia Baumgardner talking about how boxing is always good for fundamentals. She asked whether they would be using pads or hitting mitts, and he replied that she should decide because she was the champion, adding that he would simply follow her lead. Alicia Baumgardner looked at the boxing gloves and said she could not even put those on properly. She mentioned that she normally wears Everlast gloves but wanted to see how the others looked. After checking them out, she laughed and said they were ugly. The conversation then shifted to sparring, with DDG asking if she sparred with men. Alicia Baumgardner confidently replied that she did, explaining that male sparring partners prepare her for the highest level of competition. She talked about one of her previous fights where she completed 12 rounds of 3-minute rounds, adding that the men she spars with hit hard and push her to stay sharp. DDG jokingly asked if he was going to end up crying during the session, but Alicia Baumgardner laughed and said there was no way that would happen. She admitted that sparring might be a little difficult because of her nails, but she still picked the gloves she thought were best. They joked about not breaking a nail, and she suggested they should probably stick to body shots and keep things smart. Alicia Baumgardner explained that she genuinely loves boxing and believes she is the best at what she does because she trains alongside male fighters. She said her male counterparts keep her in shape and constantly push her to improve. When DDG asked how long she had been boxing, Alicia Baumgardner revealed that she had been boxing since she was 8 years old and would be turning 32 next week. DDG was surprised and joked that he thought she was only 21. She laughed and said she was really about to turn 32, crediting good genes and working out for her youthful appearance. The two then started talking about their backgrounds and ethnicity. Alicia Baumgardner shared that she was Korean, Black, and German, while also mentioning Malaysian heritage during the conversation. She said her last fight had been against a Korean woman and described it as a fun experience. When DDG mentioned that she seemed more friendly during that fight, Alicia Baumgardner explained that it was out of respect. She said Korean culture is deeply rooted in respect, although she would still talk her talk whenever necessary. Alicia Baumgardner explained that during her fight against the Korean opponent, the respect between them was genuine. She said it was a really special experience to share that moment together. When asked if there were any female boxers she did not like, Alicia Baumgardner responded that she does not pay attention to anyone else because she only focuses on herself. However, she added that if anyone wants the smoke, then they can handle it in the ring. The conversation then turned toward pre-fight emotions. DDG asked if she ever gets nervous before a fight, but Alicia Baumgardner said she does not like using the word nervous. Instead, she explained that she feels anticipation because she visualizes everything before stepping into the ring, what she wants to do, how she wants to do it, and how she plans to execute her strategy. She said she always aims for the best possible performance and, ideally, a knockout, so her focus is more on execution than fear. She also talked about how quickly opportunities can pass at the top level of boxing, saying that once a moment is gone, it is gone. When DDG asked how many fights she usually has in a year, Alicia Baumgardner said she fought 3 times last year. She admitted that this is not very common in boxing, but she prefers staying active, adding that 3 fights in a year feels perfect for her. She mentioned that she would probably have one more fight later this year. The mood then became more playful when Alicia Baumgardner suggested doing some mitt work together. After preparing for the workout, she asked DDG what boxing means to him personally. DDG then revealed that before becoming known for streaming and YouTube, his original dream was actually to become a boxer. DDG explained that boxing was once his biggest dream. He said he truly wanted to become a professional boxer and even competed in amateur fights. He recalled fighting the same opponent for the third time and strongly believed he had won the match, but the decision went against him. According to DDG, the judges favored the other fighter because one of his people was involved in judging the fight. That experience discouraged him badly, and he eventually gave up on boxing. He also revealed that he later tore his rotator cuff because of the sport. After hearing that, Alicia Baumgardner shared that she had torn her ACL before as well. The conversation then shifted to sports backgrounds, with Alicia Baumgardner explaining that boxing was not the only sport she had done growing up. She said she wrestled from the age of 5 until middle school and then started boxing at 8 years old because that was the minimum age requirement. Besides boxing and wrestling, she also did gymnastics and competed in track during high school. When DDG asked how old she was when she turned professional, Alicia Baumgardner revealed that she became a pro boxer at 22 years old. She reflected on how quickly time passes and mentioned her professional record, saying she was 19-1 with 7 knockouts. The conversation then became more personal when DDG asked how she felt after suffering her only loss. Alicia Baumgardner explained that she was not necessarily sad but more disappointed. She said she learned that your environment and the people around you are everything. According to her, if you do not have the right people in your circle, those same people can keep you stuck at the bottom with them. She explained that after that setback, she had to make adjustments and return to the gym with a stronger mindset. DDG praised her determination, and Alicia Baumgardner firmly stated that giving up was never an option for her. She said you only truly discover how strong you are when you push through difficult moments and see it through. Alicia Baumgardner continued talking about the importance of overcoming setbacks, saying that losses are part of life and you have to see it through. She explained that difficult moments eventually turn into wisdom, and that kind of knowledge cannot be bought because it only comes through life experiences. DDG agreed with her, calling it real talk. The two then realized they were both from the Midwest, with Alicia Baumgardner mentioning she was from Ohio. As they prepared to train, DDG admitted that he had not put gloves on since his last fight. Once they started working on technique, Alicia Baumgardner immediately corrected his boxing stance. She laughed and said she hated when people stood a certain way because it was not a proper boxing stance at all. She demonstrated her own stance, explaining that she stays protected and balanced. When she asked DDG to show his stance, she carefully analyzed it and suggested a few adjustments. She told him to position himself a little differently so his body would not be too open for body shots and advised him to lean slightly more onto his back leg to generate more power. After seeing his form, Alicia Baumgardner admitted that maybe she did not want to spar him anymore because he looked decent. They then started practicing punches together. Dee jokingly asked if she thought he punched softly, like a girl. Alicia Baumgardner quickly corrected him, saying he punched like a woman, making it clear that women can punch hard too. As they practiced combinations like the jab and the 1-2 punch, Alicia Baumgardner guided him through her technique and encouraged him to follow her rhythm instead. During the mitt work, she complained that her nails were making things uncomfortable and joked about not wanting to break one. Eventually, she decided they should mostly focus on jabs and hooks because her power hand and thumb were already hurting from the pressure against her nails. Alicia Baumgardner suggested that they keep the punches light and simply touch with the shots instead of throwing full power. As they continued training, she coached DDG through combinations, repeatedly telling him to keep his hands up and move faster. She guided him through a 1-2-3 combination step by step, encouraging him to repeat it several times until the rhythm felt natural. The session became playful and energetic as they kept practicing together. Alicia Baumgardner laughed at some of the movements and told him to keep working on the jab. She carefully explained how the right hand should come back into position after punching and made sure he understood the mechanics behind every movement. At one point, Alicia Baumgardner asked if she had hit him too hard, but DDG said he was fine. She then started explaining the purpose behind the jab and the counter movement, pointing out that when you jab and pull back correctly, you are preparing yourself to counter your opponent. She said timing is extremely important in boxing and mentioned that counterpunches are one of her favorite techniques because they require speed and precision. While discussing timing and countering, Alicia Baumgardner referenced Floyd Mayweather, saying he was one of the best examples of mastering that style. The conversation then shifted to favorite male boxers. Alicia Baumgardner listed Mike Tyson first, saying she admired his aura and energy. She also praised Deontay Wilder for being a knockout artist who knows how to put on a show, and she included Canelo Alvarez among her favorites as well. When asked about Floyd Mayweather, Alicia Baumgardner quickly added that she liked him too, explaining that she had simply been naming her top 3 off the top of her head. DDG asked Alicia Baumgardner if she did not like Floyd Mayweather, since he was his personal favorite boxer. Alicia Baumgardner quickly clarified that she absolutely liked Mayweather and explained that she grew up during the era of Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, saying everyone would sit down and watch those fights. She added that because she is still actively involved in boxing, she sometimes thinks more about current fighters, especially since Mayweather is retired. The training session then continued as Alicia Baumgardner showed DDG another way to throw combinations. She demonstrated how she usually throws a 1-2 punch before following it with a third shot while moving into position. She encouraged him to copy her movement, and when he tried it successfully, she praised him and told him to keep working the jab and right hand. As they practiced footwork and movement, Alicia Baumgardner repeatedly instructed DDG to get out after throwing punches, emphasizing the importance of escaping quickly after attacking. She continued coaching him through the drills, correcting his positioning and movement along the way. Later, DDG asked her what she would do in a specific fighting situation. Alicia Baumgardner explained that she would start with a jab and then use a feint to bait a reaction. When she demonstrated the motion, DDG admitted that it scared him because it looked realistic and sudden. Alicia Baumgardner then broke down her strategy in more detail. She explained that once an opponent reacts and opens up, she can come back with a hook or a right hand. However, she said her favorite option is attacking the body because body shots gradually break fighters down over time. To demonstrate, she asked DDG to throw a real jab toward her stomach so she could show him how the counter and body attack would work in an actual fight scenario. DDG asked Alicia Baumgardner to demonstrate the body shot setup she had just explained. He told her to throw the hook and then hit him in the stomach the way she would in a real fight. Alicia Baumgardner agreed but told him to be ready because she wanted him to actually feel the punch. When she threw the shot, DDG reacted and moved away, making her laugh and tell him to stay still so she could land it properly. After another attempt, DDG admitted he liked the shot and asked if that was her hardest punch. Alicia Baumgardner explained that she still had her nails on, so she was not punching with full force, but she offered to throw another one anyway. During the exchange, DDG instinctively tried to block the punch, then quickly apologized and said he was not trying to stop it. The conversation then shifted into a more serious discussion about women in boxing. DDG commented that even though he sees Alicia Baumgardner knocking people out in fights, at the end of the day, he still sees her as a girl. Alicia Baumgardner immediately corrected him and said, "I'm a woman." DDG then admitted that he personally does not believe in sparring women. In response, Alicia Baumgardner explained that professional boxing is different when you are competing at the highest level. She said that men help women improve in boxing, and women can also help men improve. According to her, many of the male fighters she has sparred with would say they learned valuable things from training with her as well. She emphasized that there is a major difference between a professional man who knows how to train properly with female fighters and a man who simply tries to fight women aggressively without understanding the sport. Alicia Baumgardner explained that real professionals know how to work together safely and productively in the gym. After that conversation, the mood became playful again when DDG suddenly suggested they should spar lightly. Alicia Baumgardner laughed and confirmed that he really wanted to spar, while he insisted he just wanted to feel what it was like. As the light sparring session began, DDG jokingly reminded everyone not to forget that Alicia Baumgardner was still a woman. After taking a few shots to the body, he admitted that the punches actually hurt a little, although he tried not to show it on camera because he wanted to keep his composure for the clip. The conversation then shifted briefly to weight classes. DDG revealed that he weighs around 155 pounds, and Alicia Baumgardner asked how low he thought he could cut his weight if he seriously prepared for a fight. He guessed he could probably get down to around 140 or maybe even 135 pounds, although he admitted he had never been that light, especially at nearly 6 feet tall. As they prepared to spar more seriously, Alicia Baumgardner pointed out that they were roughly similar in size. They agreed to keep the sparring limited mostly to body shots because she did not want to jab him in the face. DDG agreed and asked for more space while setting up for the exchange, eventually backing himself into the corner. Before they started, there was a playful mock introduction where Alicia Baumgardner was announced as the unified world champion with a 19-1 record. During the joking introduction, she confidently said that being undefeated did not matter to her because setbacks are part of the sport. Once the sparring started, Alicia Baumgardner quickly showed her experience and instincts in the ring. At one point, she warned DDG that dropping his hands was the wrong thing to do because it leaves openings for punches. The exchanges became more physical and competitive, with DDG encouraging her to hit him while also jokingly asking her not to knock him out. As the sparring intensified, someone on the side yelled to tie him up, reacting to the fast pace of the exchange. Afterward, DDG laughed and admitted that Alicia Baumgardner was beating him up during the sparring session. Toward the end, things became more rough and physical when wrestling instincts started to kick in. DDG joked that this was where her wrestling background came into play, while Alicia Baumgardner apologized after accidentally landing a particularly hard punch. After one of the exchanges during sparring, DDG laughed and said that Alicia Baumgardner had knocked his wave cap completely off. He jokingly acted shocked about it while trying to recover from the moment. Someone nearby reminded him to keep his hands up, while DDG pointed out that he thought they were only supposed to be throwing body shots. Even though he was joking around, DDG admitted the punches actually had real power behind them. Meanwhile, Alicia Baumgardner confessed that she needed that sparring session because she had not punched anyone since her last fight on April 17th. She said it felt good to get back into action and enjoyed the feeling of hitting pads and exchanging punches again. She thanked DDG for participating and joked that he could now officially say he had been punched by a world champion. When DDG teased her by saying, "a girl," Alicia Baumgardner quickly corrected him again by emphasizing that she was a woman. After the sparring exchange, DDG immediately asked how everything looked on camera. He wanted to make sure he did not stumble or look hurt after taking the punch. Although he insisted he handled it well, he admitted that the shot definitely hurt a little bit. The training session then shifted into shadowboxing drills. Alicia Baumgardner instructed DDG to shadowbox for about 30 to 45 seconds so she could evaluate his technique. She explained that shadowboxing is extremely important in boxing because it mimics how fighters move and perform in the ring. She admitted that she used to underestimate its value herself but eventually realized it is one of the best ways to improve form and technique. As DDG shadowboxed, Alicia Baumgardner coached him through the basics. She told him to keep his elbows tight, use his feet properly, and stay balanced while throwing punches. She also asked whether he was breathing correctly with his punches, explaining that proper breathing is an important part of boxing mechanics and rhythm. While continuing the shadowboxing session, Alicia Baumgardner joked that she could not hear DDG breathing properly during his punches. She laughed and teased him before correcting his stance again, telling him to sit lower instead of standing too upright. She explained that boxing requires fighters to let their legs burn because strong legs are essential for movement, balance, and power. When DDG asked whether she trains legs often, Alicia Baumgardner said she practically does leg work every day through hills, running, and conditioning exercises. After the intense sparring and drills, she checked to make sure he was okay, and DDG assured her that he was fine. The conversation then turned back to sparring. DDG asked whether Alicia Baumgardner spars with her female friends, but she clarified that she only spars in serious training situations and works with people who can genuinely help sharpen her skills. As they continued talking, Alicia Baumgardner asked if this was the first time DDG had been around a real boxing training environment like this. He confirmed that it was, and she described the atmosphere as organic and natural, explaining that being in a gym creates a completely different feeling compared to watching boxing from the outside. Later, DDG revealed that he had actually fought professionally once before several years ago and was technically undefeated with a 1-0 record. He joked about working toward another fight in the future. After hearing that, Alicia Baumgardner encouraged him seriously, saying that if he truly dedicated himself to boxing again, he could absolutely make a comeback. She told him that professional boxing is completely different from the amateur scene and suggested that returning to the sport could become his redemption story after what happened to him in the amateurs. Alicia Baumgardner also joked that after the sparring session they just had, he probably felt the effects of boxing all over his body. Alicia Baumgardner continued encouraging DDG to seriously consider returning to boxing. She explained that it is much easier for someone like him because he already understands the fundamentals of the sport and would only need to sharpen his skills again. According to her, he already has the foundation necessary to compete if he truly commits himself. DDG admitted that he had thought about getting back into boxing, especially because one of his friends, Aiden Ross, runs influencer boxing events and fight cards through his Brand Risk platform. Even with those opportunities available, DDG confessed that one of the biggest things holding him back is fear of losing. He explained that if he were to lose publicly, he feels like it could damage everything for him. In response, Alicia Baumgardner immediately challenged that mindset. She told him he cannot enter boxing thinking about losing and instead needs to approach it with the mentality that winning is the only option. She explained that success in boxing comes from putting in the work, believing in yourself, and fully committing mentally before ever stepping into the ring. DDG then brought up another concern: the amount of time and dedication boxing requires. He asked Alicia Baumgardner how often she trains, and she replied that she trains every single day from Monday through Sunday. She explained that some days are 2-hour sessions while others can last 3 hours or more, depending on how she breaks up her workouts and recovery. Even after hearing how demanding the lifestyle is, Alicia Baumgardner still believed DDG could do it. She explained that discipline is what separates fighters and that the more disciplined you are, the better the results become. She emphasized once again that having strong fundamentals already gives him a major advantage. The conversation then became more playful when DDG asked if she would personally train him if he ever decided to fight again. Alicia Baumgardner enthusiastically agreed and joked that she wanted to see him back in the ring. She even asked the people around them who they thought he should fight next. After getting hit earlier during sparring, DDG admitted that the experience actually motivated him and made him feel fired up. He joked that the hook she landed made him angry in a competitive way, although he clarified that he would not take that aggression out on her. Alicia Baumgardner loved hearing that response and explained that boxing requires controlled aggression. She said getting clipped or hit during a fight can sometimes ignite a fighter's determination and push them to respond even harder mentally and physically. Alicia Baumgardner continued explaining the mentality fighters need inside the ring. She said that when a boxer gets hit, the key is being able to regroup, tighten up mentally, and come back stronger instead of falling apart. According to her, controlled aggression is one of the biggest qualities elite fighters possess because it reveals whether someone can maintain composure under pressure or completely lose control emotionally. She explained that true fighters keep a poker face even after taking a hard shot and immediately start thinking about how they are going to respond and get their momentum back. While listening to her, DDG joked that his head was hurting a little from the sparring session. Alicia Baumgardner admitted that she might have let one punch go a bit too much and apologized because they were originally only supposed to be throwing body shots. DDG laughed it off and forgave her. After the intense boxing talk, the conversation became lighter and shifted toward lifestyle and food. DDG mentioned that he had seen Alicia Baumgardner's TikTok content and noticed that she cooks a lot. She confirmed that she enjoys cooking, making smoothies, and juicing as part of her lifestyle outside the ring. Still joking about the sparring session, DDG asked if she thought she had given him a knot on his head. Alicia Baumgardner checked and told him it was probably just swelling around his temple area. The two then started discussing food and diet. DDG asked what she usually eats, and Alicia Baumgardner said she eats a wide variety of foods, including tacos, spaghetti, salads, lamb chops, burgers, and other meals. When he asked specifically about her diet during training camp, she explained that she does not follow an extremely strict diet because she naturally stays close to her fighting weight. Alicia Baumgardner revealed that she competes around 130 pounds and normally walks around at only 140 to 142 pounds outside of fights, so she never has to cut an extreme amount of weight. Because of her fast metabolism and intense training schedule, she can still enjoy foods like steak, mashed potatoes, and salads, although she tries not to eat meals that are too heavy in carbs or loaded with cheese. After talking about training and diets, the conversation shifted toward food and cooking. DDG asked Alicia Baumgardner whether she wanted to cook something or simply order food. Since she had been flying all day and was already hungry, Alicia Baumgardner said something quick would be nice, but she also confidently offered to cook if he wanted her to. She joked that she could whip something up easily because she enjoys cooking. When DDG asked what she felt like eating, Alicia Baumgardner explained that she is very open when it comes to food and can cook almost anything. They started throwing around ideas like steak, tacos, and spaghetti. She then offered to make a Korean dish, specifically Korean chicken with rice, which immediately caught DDG's attention. The conversation continued as they discussed different meal ideas. After asking whether he liked lamb, Alicia Baumgardner revealed one of her top-secret favorite meals, lamb spaghetti. DDG sounded excited about the idea and quickly agreed, telling her to make it. Once they settled on the meal, they decided they should head to the grocery store together to get the ingredients. DDG joked that he was officially done boxing for the day and was ready to enjoy lamb spaghetti with garlic bread instead. Even while preparing to leave, DDG was still thinking about the sparring session and wanted to rewatch the clip of himself getting hit. Alicia Baumgardner teased him and said he looked bad after taking the shot. DDG then described how the punch felt, saying it made him hear a ringing sound in his ear and even see a brief white flash of light. Alicia Baumgardner laughed as he described the experience. Before heading out, DDG asked whether she wanted to change clothes first or just leave directly from the gym. Alicia Baumgardner replied that she was already ready to go and could head out exactly as she was. As they prepared to leave the gym, someone asked whether DDG and Alicia Baumgardner had arrived by car or Uber. They explained that they had a car, but since everything was nearby, they could easily just walk instead. During the transition, the crew focused on getting the filming equipment organized, checking microphones and wires to make sure everything was working properly before wrapping up the shoot. While the team adjusted the audio setup, they tested the microphones and confirmed everything sounded good. Once the equipment was ready, they lined up for a final outro clip. On cue, DDG started the closing segment by introducing himself and jokingly admitting that he had lost the sparring session against Alicia Baumgardner. Alicia Baumgardner laughed and reminded him that she had told him to keep his hands up during sparring. Despite the playful teasing, she said the experience was all love and explained that he had received a valuable lesson from a world champion. DDG admitted he still had a headache from getting punched but joked that he would survive. After finishing the outro, the mood stayed lighthearted as they prepared to leave for food. Alicia Baumgardner enthusiastically suggested they finally go eat, while DDG continued joking about how hard the sparring session had been on him. At one point, he joked that he was so frustrated after getting hit that he was going to take it out on his brother later for no reason at all. As the video wrapped up completely, DDG started looking around for his hoodie while everyone gathered their belongings and got ready to leave the gym together.